Hello, welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar, and man, I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed this book. This came out like 2 Wednesdays ago at this point, so I'm a little late getting on the review train, but this book was worth it. It was worth the wait for me. For you, hopefully you bought it the day it came out. I know I got this put on my pull list, so I would not ever be late on an issue again. It's a hoot. So I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something, and if you're uncharitable, you're gonna interpret it one way, and that's the wrong way to interpret it. I haven't laughed this hard at a comic book in a long time. Like a lot of alternative books have been pretty funny, because they tend to be like humor books. But that kind of humor is like tricky and it's very person specific. Like, I enjoy those Bear and Rat and Mr. Crip stories. They're a hoot. I get some good, sensible chuckles out of them. I do. This, I just busted out laughing at the ridiculousness of the situations, that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. So we start off, and I'm going to kind of give an overview of what's going on here. We start off, their equipment is getting repoed because Mysterio, pretending to be this guy, Cage. Oh, I don't remember his full name. Let's go with Cage. This guy, this director, who's auteur, Cage, and Mysterio kind of wasn't returning the phone calls from the rental company who was like, "Where's our money?" Needless to say, they either want their money or their stuff, and without the money, they came to get their stuff. Who can blame them, right? So there's lots of silly shenanigans going on here. Mary Jane's looking great. God, that's one of the things. This book is amazing from just the art perspective. It's like one of the best looking Marvel books. I have no idea why. She always looks great. Everybody else looks great. Characters are very expressive. You very rarely see like something utterly boring. It's kind of cartoonishly expressive, but you know what? It's kind of like a stage theater or wrestling or whatever. You have to do that. This is not an animated medium. It's kind of hard to go and have people out there look boring. They should look amazing. That's one of the things that makes Marvel art, or used to, would make Marvel art stand out, is people were animated, they were amazing. There'd be like incredible panel layouts, great writing. That's why Marvel absolutely rose out of the ashes of its original, out of, what were they? Were they Timely at that point? Rose out of the ashes of Timely, and with Stan Lee doing reprints of old material, and just absolutely started hammering DC out of nowhere. Marvel had that great, great dynamic art. I mean, Jack Kirby, he may sometimes draw some like derpy faces and stuff, but he really knew how to put emotion and power and energy into art. And part of that is making sure that things look expressive. So anyway, they're getting their stuff repoed, and the rest of the book is, first Mysterio's lamenting, but they basically have to go get money. No, no, no. Lots of no's. Look at that back there. Ah! And they talk about the reasons why and stuff. I'm trying not to show you so much of the book because I don't want to spoil it. Anyway, they, of course, eventually, they're going to fund their movie. They have to get money from somewhere. So, you know, that's the main driving factor, what goes on. So they're having those meetings. And it doesn't sound fun. It doesn't. It sounds boring. Like, oh, they're having meetings. Yeah, but they're having meetings in totally insane ways with insane people, and it's a hoot. And then there's a little twist at the end which sets up the next issue, which I think might actually bust out like a bunch of action. This one was a lot of setup and a lot of laughing. I think the next one might actually bust out a little bit of action. Now, one thing I will say that is kind of a negative, Mary Jane, if you know her from, any Spider-Man comic. In fact, I'm thinking of one particular one. I haven't read this in a long time. I don't even remember if this was a spectacular or a web or an amazing. My feeling is it was in a web of Spider-Man, but I'm probably wrong. Man, I used to love Web of Spider-Man back in the day. That was some good stuff. But there's this issue. Her and Peter are looking for an apartment in Manhattan, and they get this like little flea-ridden rat hole kind of apartment. You know, it's not like a great apartment, and it costs like 1,400 for a single room per month. And Peter's like, "This is they're with my budget." She's like, come on, Peter, you got to do this, or my career, you know, will never take off. We'll never get big. We'll never get money. And I think they ended up taking that apartment. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read that. That issue sticks out in my mind because I'm pretty sure that was the first time that 8-year-old me ever heard somebody or ever read somebody say "ciao," and I've used "ciao" as a farewell since then. But even back then, Mary Jane was hustling. She was pushing. She was trying to advance. She's always been a go-getter. It's one of the things that makes her great. You know, sometimes if you look at art, she'll be depicted as like, oh hey, how about that J. Scott Campbell piece where she's just like sitting there in her Spidey T-shirt with a cup of coffee. Like you'll see her depicted like that in art, but that's never really been Mary Jane's character. She's always been out trying to get to the next level, and she's doing that here. Mysterio, now Mysterio's origins are totally a stunt man who figured out I think he was a stuntman. Anyway, he's a guy who figured out all sorts of weird technology things and how to create illusions and stuff to go fight Spider-Man. I think I did a review of the first issue where Mysterio's in it because they did a True Believer reprint of that a while back. Pretty sure I did a review of that. Uh, Go check that out if you're interested. Oh, look at that subtle plug. But he's got that character. He should have like that kind of boldness, that kind of oomph, that kind of vibe, you know. But in this issue, he doesn't really. He falls into like some ridiculous despair, has a little temper tantrum. She has to talk him down out of it. And she arranges, you know, some more meetings and drags him to places to get money and stuff. And it feels kind of odd for Mysterio, a supervillain, to be that passive in funding his own project. And I don't know that necessarily jives with his character. So that's kind of a downer. That kind of feels wrong. I don't think Mysterio would quite act that way. But Mysterio is also not a character whose personality I'm super familiar with and whose personality I'm super invested in. And I can kind of see like he's been trying to impersonate like an auteur movie director for so long that he's picked up bad habits, you know? He's changed himself. So I can kind of buy it. I can kind of buy it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I know I haven't showed you a lot of the book, and you've just been like staring at blank pages, but man, look at her face right there. Look at that. It's gorgeous. It's expressive. This is fantastic. Issue 1 surprised me so much. I thought it was going to be terrible. Somebody, who was it? I don't remember now. Somebody on Twitter was like, hey, it's pretty good. And I checked it out, and I loved it. And issue 2 has carried on with that. I loved this. It's great. This might be the best thing Marvel's got going on. This was a lot more satisfying than Absolute Carnage number 5. It just wasn't full of blood and guts like Absolute Carnage was. You all take care of yourselves. You have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I sure hope to see you again next time. And until then, bye-bye.